Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. So this is a little bit of improvement from the previous live noding. So I tried to make the flower instead of using the shortcut like using two circles. This is a more correct way to do it. So basically, I'm gonna break this down. I start with something that looks like a leaf. And the leaf itself is an interesting problem. Currently, what I have is a line that starts from this guy. Okay, there's a line, and actually I'm using two different starting points. So we have this 3-point arc, and we have the line. So let's start with the line. It's the simpler one. So I have a line going through, and with the line I kind of have this I moved the line slightly to the top actually, but it was flat like this, and I move it so it's look a little bit more like a flower petal, or maybe like a leaves as well, more like a leaves, but it's okay. And then I have this two move nodes that's moving the lines to the left and to the right, while at the same time I'm using the multiplier. In this case, it's sign is in to generate this kind of leaves. I join them together, and using UV connection I get this result. And this is a single flower petal, I guess, or a single leaves. And then what happened next is we already learned this before, basically rotating the leaves multiple times. The minimum we can have is 2 is working, but 3 is probably better. We can have multiple, and so this is kind of like a flower design, even though currently it's like more like a leaves, but maybe this can be useful for our pen effects thing. So yeah, so this is pretty much it for the flower petal. Let's see what else I can improve here. The location, maybe if I move the location slightly, but that's actually for the whole thing. So the location won't work unless maybe I use a circle. Okay, with the circle doesn't seem to work because it seems to be changing the pivot rotation of this matrix in. Maybe I can use matrix deform. Let me see. Well, actually with the line itself, we can sort of move it. So vector in. Maybe we have move vertices vector multiplier vector. Okay, we need a vector in. We can move that vertices in X, so that's creating the gap there. So that may be something that we want. Like I said, the leaves itself is an interesting problem. I kind of wish it can be much easier. Like if we provide a lines, and then somewhat we can generate some kind of mesh like that. Of course, we can also use the skin modifier, not forgetting that guy. Let's see, skin modifier, skin mesher. Okay, with skin mesher we don't need the whole list join stuff. We just get the stem, the middle part, and let's see, this is gonna be different. Sorry, I believe this guy and the edges, and turn it live, make it live. So we have that guy, we can make it flat, and then we can still use the matrix stuff. I'm gonna just plug in the matrix into that guy. Oops, wrong matrix. Okay, yeah, seems to work fine. Maybe we can kind of deform this guy, deform the vertices itself. Okay, yeah, didn't expect that, but still kind of interesting that we can actually generate this. It looks like a Rafflesia flower. It's one of the, like a giant flower in Indonesia. Maybe we can flatten this guy. So this guy, general radius X, actually controlling the pedal in that direction. So that's actually can be really cool. It depends depending on how many lines we have here. So we have 8. Okay, 8 lines, and we can have a random range. Let's see. We can actually use this easing into our radius. Well, didn't. I might need to remap it. Map range. So this value coming out from the easing, if we check the value real quick, it's like 0, 5, 10. Okay, that's like too big, but I'm sure we can use this value into that guy. And let me check real quick. So if we use linear somehow, okay, let's create a range float. Count 8, start stop 0 to 1, and then we want a value that's kind of going up and then going down. We plug this into that guy. Oh, okay, so this kind of generate that result. It's actually not too bad. This can be very useful for us. It's okay. The count can be the same as this guy. Okay, but the result here, map range, we can use a function, the easing function. Linear interpolation is doing this, and then we have quadratic, others functions, circular, circular with ease out, circular ease in, maybe elastic bounce. I'm pretty sure that we can just use half of them. Like for the sine wave, sine is, sine out, you can just use half of it. Or actually, there you go. That's kind of the result I am thinking. 0, 1. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad at all. It's more like a pedal now. File set as. Now I'm thinking maybe we need to be able to also control the rotation of this guy. Currently the angle is this guy is rotating it, and then we want to be able to rotate it also in a and a different axis. If I plug in vector math here, add, and then random vector, let's see what we get. Yeah, that's probably not what we want, but I just want to be able to rotate it slightly, you know, adding slight randomizations. Maybe not using random, but something else, but that's something to keep in mind. So we have this. Let's try to turn this into a monad file, save as. So we have this, and then we have all of this stuff. The important part, of course, is this guy. Oh, actually, I can just keep growing it. That's really cool. It's part of the procedural nature of this. Let's turn this into a monad. We might fail, but we will see. Okay, we have a lot of option here. Too many, in fact. I'm gonna select all of these, and then node, make group, shift control G. Now it goes into a monad mode, and here this is the tricky part. We're gonna connect some of this stuff. Okay, we have the line, and then we have the stepping, and then we have this count. This count should also connect to this guy. So and we have this also. I should name this properly, making sure there is no same name like this. So stop, this is the count, number of step count. We have this guy as well. And the output is gonna be something that's for our skin measure. Let's randomize input. That's the radius. Radius. Vertices with slight randomizations. There's this seed and amplitude. If the connection is for other things. So okay, let's go up. This is gonna be our flower. Delete everything, and hopefully this works. So we reduce everything into a monad, and then we just need to give it a proper value, and let's see if this works. Vertices and edges. We have vertices. We don't have edges output, so for the edges output we need to get it from our line. so that's important. Put that back in, go back up, provide the edges. Okay, we have this, so that's cool. And okay, we also need the matrix, so that's the tricky bits. The matrix transform will do the duplications. Okay, that's cool. And we have the radius x, radius y, and radius x. This is the for the vertices. We have the stepping. Okay, that's the count. Oh, maybe I forgot something. Skip for the matrix. This is the radius. Doesn't seem to work. Let's recreate that skin measure. Without the skin measure, let's see what we have. Matrix, viewer, draw, vertices and edges. Just line, and we have matrix. That's increasing the vertices. We have the stepping, count how many petal. So I really think this should actually work. Vertices and edges and the matrix, and make it live, and then change the radius. Still not happy. Okay, now it's working. Very nice. And then the radius goes in there. Now it's becoming fat again. There must be something here that it could be from the monad. Radius clamping is in, start stop. The count goes in to this guy. The count is actually should be from the line. Number of vertices. Okay. This guy goes in there. Now go back up and then plug in the radius. Now it's working. Okay, cool. Apparently I didn't put the right number into. So before it didn't work because I am using the wrong value. This is the count of the petal. The number of petal count. Okay, this is the number of vertices, and we can still have control over this guy. It should update stream. Okay, we can control the pedal that way, so that's okay. That's kind of nice. This is more like a lotus flower. We still have control over the thickness, so that's nice. The petal count. If you really want, actually, this is since we have the monad, seems to be working. We can turn on the vectorization and splitting and this kind of stuff. It's more advanced, and it's probably not gonna work with the skin measure at the moment. But if you, I'm gonna show it to you. So if we turn off our pedal, now we have this guy, and if we use the matrix going there. This might be a little bit confusing now. I'm gonna do apply matrix. So this vector and the matrix, and plug into that guy. So we have these lines, and then for the edges we need to use a repeat, I think. So repeat line depending on the number of the petal. Okay, that seems to work. And then if we turn on vectorize and split, we can use a random number. And there's interesting effects on the skin measure, but what I really want is to use matrix in here. Use a plain, or actually use just a line. Oh, okay. It's not gonna work like this. Actually, I should do the matrix apply inside the monad. So that's a kind of silly thing to do. I shouldn't have done that. Don't use random generator there. That'll come with the C's. Well, I just realized that for the flower, it needs a way to kind of do the matrix. So it's not a good idea to do the matrix here. I'm gonna do a slight modification, even though this is kind of off for the time. So apply. If I do the apply matrix here with the vector and the matrix, and if I cut this and then remove the matrix, plug this into the vertices, we get the results, which is good. To be cleaner, we actually need to repeat the edges as well. List repeater on the edges. I'm gonna make it full screen. So line, edges. These edges should go into this guy and this plug into that guy. The number of the repeat depending on the number of the petal. Hopefully this is correct. Yeah, we need to unwrap it. Okay, that might actually be it. That might be it. Matrix apply, and we need a way to control the location. So matrix in, actually vector in the location and scale matrix should go out. locations and scale. Okay, let's hope this works. Go up. This guy is complaining. Let's cut this. Make a pedal like 12 and then see radius. Radius goes in there, vertices, edges. Something is not quite right with this setup at the moment. So edges and vertices. So this guy is not happy at all. Let's go back in. Maybe we don't need to. Maybe we don't need list repeater after all. Just cut it. Plug in the edges into this output. Line, edge. Go back up. Vertices and edges. No, it's not happy still. Monet has exception. Maybe this guy will work. No, this doesn't work either because of the maybe because of the location. Huh. Interesting. That's a little bit weird. So okay, if it doesn't have that's why. Okay, that's now seems to be working. Cool. Yeah, this one failed, but go back inside and yeah, apparently we need repeat edges after all. This repeater 2, 1, unwrap. Okay, got it. Phew. This thing is not easy, but actually not too hard either. Actually, this is still pretty basic. Make sure this on is making flower. Create flower. That's better. Okay, so let's get our flower back. Turn off our preview. We have this guy now. We can control the positions. No, we cannot. Location, scale. There's a matrix here. Okay, matrix in. This guy we can use to generate instance. Apparently not. Okay, apparently it's not how it works. It's I was wrong. I need to kind of merge. I need to join it inside. Okay, this is another thing, another gotcha. Matrix apply vertices edges. Join mesh. Vertices, polygon edge. And polygon edge. Now we're talking. This is indeed quite tricky, but still not that complicated. Use plane and use this guy, polygon. There we go, multiple flower and radius. Is the radius working? Maybe the radius failed to work because we need to provide more value here. It's like repeating the radius, maybe repeat. Well, I guess we can forget about radius for now, but I'm kind of curious if we can vectorize this guy. So currently we have 16 petal for all the flowers. Maybe we can use random number generator. If this works, I'm actually will be surprised. It does actually work, which is quite fascinating because this is quite complex in itself. So we have 20 of them, 20 variations on all the petal. Even though the petal itself doesn't work with the radius, maybe I forgot something. Maybe I need to generate this value manually for all these 20 flowers. But I'm kind of happy with this result. I can randomize the seed and get different flowers. Yeah, this is one of the hardest thing I ever done in Spreadshop, but still like I said, this is still pretty simple. This complex stuff is still pretty basic. We just duplicate the petal and then turn it into a monad, and we are using skin modifier on top of that. Skin modifier super handy for this, even though currently it doesn't work. Still, if we only need one, this is gonna work for us. The radius. Don't use that. Turn off this guy. General radius. Maybe I forgot something with the general radius, like to repeat it. I need to go back inside and maybe repeat it. I guess that's what I forgot to do. List repeater number. Let's do the same thing here. Number. Petal count. This guy. Yeah, I think that's something I need to kind of have a think first, but basically this is it for the flower. I might still improve it over time, but all the concepts are there, and hopefully this is useful for you. If you have any question, suggestion, and feedback, let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video.